Hey, property management friends. Welcome to This Week in Property Management. I'm your host, Jeremy Pound from RentScale. And today we have a special episode for two reasons. Number one, this is our 10th episode of our Young series, and we appreciate you for being here for the genesis of the first regular live show exclusively designed for residential property managers. And secondly, in honor of our first episode of 2024, I brought in the full RentScale coaching team down here to the studio to share their biggest recommendations for scaling up in 2024. Now, I'll be honest with you, this set and this live show was not designed for multiple hosts. So you may see some clumsy transitions today on set, but we thought that was all worth it to let you hear from the entire coaching team live from here in Boca Raton. But before we hear from the full coaching team, we do have a special live edition of our scoreboard. And this time, it's not just for December, like our normal scoreboards, but it's for all of 2024. Yes, that's right. We're going to give you the full new business development numbers for the Scale Club community of about 70 to 80 companies over the course of the entire year and show you who closed the most doors, what the averages were, and how many leads they needed to close their doors. Now, I'm going to invite Jen up to the stage to give you a special live 2024 scoreboard. But first, a quick word from our sponsor.
Hi there. Did you know that RentScale hosts one of the largest communities of property management sales professionals in North America? Well, my name is Reese Register, and I'm actually a previous BDM and currently a scale coach here at RentScale. We provide over 20 hours monthly of teaching and training and accountability to make sure that our BDMs are supercharging their sales business through inbound, outbound, and allbound. So if you're interested in learning more about supercharging your business, go over to rentscale.com. We'll be glad to schedule a consult and see how we can help you transform your business today.
Hey everyone, 2023 was a great year within our community thanks to our amazing members and clients. Scale Club is the largest community of property management sales professionals in North America, and this year we introduced some competition and created a system to rank BDM's performance so the entire industry has not only a benchmark, but is also inspired to do more. In 2023, our community underwent 540 hours of one-on-one coaching, 156 hours of role play and practice sessions, because we're professional salespeople, and just like professional athletes, we're never done improving. We ran 48 workshops and 12 skill development sessions. That's pretty exciting. But let's dive into the data on the scoreboard, which I think is what you guys really care about. So here we go. As you can see here, our community had a record-breaking year. We had 3 BDMs close more than 90 doors in 1 month. We had a total number of doors added of 3,120 and over 7,900 leads come into our BDMs. All of that accounted for a 27% conversion ratio, and we had some big scoreboard leaders, including Chicago, Illinois at 388 doors last year, Memphis, Tennessee at 311, Charlotte, North Carolina at 278. And then we had Denver rounding out our top 5. There were actually 2 BDMs in Denver, one at 197 doors and a different PM company at 158 doors. So we are looking forward to another record-breaking year in 2024 for our community. And we're so excited to bring the industry more data just like this and metrics reported specific to business development in property management. Jeremy, I will turn it back to you.
This episode is brought to you by Strategic PM, the magazine for property management entrepreneurs and executives. If you go online to strategicpm.com today, you're going to find an entire website full of content written about your industry and by your peers. And it's completely free to sign up. Just go ahead and click on the create a free account right in the upper right-hand corner. When you click on that, not only can you create a digital account, but you can actually add your mailing address and we will send you a free 1-year subscription of the print magazine, which will be showing up in your offices every single quarter. So if you take a look inside the magazine, what you're gonna see is that we are focused on growth. We've got 5 pillars of strategic PM: vision, strategy, culture, marketing, and experience. You're gonna be seeing some great high-class content from some of the best thought leaders in the industry talking about the matters that matter the most to your business. So sign up for free today at strategicpm.com and look for the magazine in your office. Okay, so let's get into our main segment. What should we be doing to scale our property management companies in 2024? Well, to be honest, I don't have all the answers, but I do have a great team here with me today who's going to share a lot of thought-provoking ideas and recommendations with you. So let's get right into it and bring on our first guest. I'd like to invite Reese from our coaching team onto the stage. Come on out, Reese.
Awesome. Wow, beautiful standing ovation from the studio audience. Love it.
It's good to have you on set.
Everybody sit down now.
First time. Yes. So Reese, we talked about this a little bit. You were a BDM. You were also a sales manager at a property management company. And so what do you think that property managers should be doing moving into 2024 to scale their company?
Yeah, well, first of all, I appreciate having me on. It's been an awesome trip down here to Boca. But looking at 2024, what I would recommend and just highly advise to put as part of your daily practice is that all-bound approach, but not just saying we're going to do all-bound with focusing on your inbound, focusing on your outbound, and focusing on your next bound, but developing a plan around that. Really what gets measured is going to get managed. So when you're developing a plan, definitely looking at outlining who your targets are going to be, what that rhythm and cadence and the messaging is going to be behind that, and executing on that consistently, talking about it daily, meeting with your team weekly to make sure that you're staying on track. Because it's one thing to do something really good one day or 1 week out of the whole year. But if you don't have a consistent execution on and an outlined plan, you're never going to get to the goals that you're really trying to get to. So as you're looking at 2024 and you're wanting more leads, more swings at the bat, make sure that you have a detailed plan that outlines who you're going to target, where your ideal fit clients are going to be, and make sure that you're reaching out to them with the proper offer so that they want to engage with you. And I think that's just a huge component to be able to win and bring on more doors and grow in 2024.
It's a great tip. It's very fundamental. I would say, are you seeing the average property management company not doing that?
So we do see a little bit of struggle getting off the ground with that because a lot of newer property management companies or even a new sales department at an established property management company, you're walking out the front door, you want more leads, you want to grow your business, but you really have no direction on where you want to go. So by putting a plan like this in place, it gives you that direction and you can modify as you go, like what's working, what's not working, so that you can execute at a higher level as you improve throughout the year. So some companies are doing that, and those companies are winning. Those companies are on our leaderboard week after week, month after month. And those are the teams that really have a good rhythm and cadence to attract the right ideal fit owners so that they can grow.
So is that recommendation based on what you've seen the winners doing that you want everyone else to be doing?
100%. Our leaders that are at the top of the scoreboard, they're the ones that are setting the plans. They're meeting about the plans. They're modifying the plans as they go and making sure that they're spending their time on those high payoff activities. So you're wanting more doors, write the plan out, execute on that, and constantly look at how you can elevate that as you move along through 2024.
I love it. Thanks for sharing, Reese.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right. 1 coach down, 3 to go. Really excited about that. I'd like to invite Julia to the stage to tell us what she's seeing this year. Hey, Julia.
Hey, Jeremy. Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming down all the way from Florida.
Yep.
To
all
Florida.
the way from North Florida to South Florida.
To South Florida. So what are you thinking? What is your biggest recommendation for property managers in 2024?
Well, Jeremy, one thing that we've really noticed coming into this new year is the importance of a compelling company culture when it comes to hiring. So we spend a lot of time interviewing potential candidates for the BDM role. And one thing that really stands out when BDMs are looking for which company they want to go to is that compelling company culture. So I always ask my owners, what makes your company a great place to work? What do your current employees have to say about it? What kind of benefits do you offer that other PM companies maybe don't offer? That makes it a more attractive place to work. So I think it's really a matter of not so much thinking about, who are we hiring, but thinking of it more as almost a marketing act is what we call it. How are you marketing your company as a more attractive option over your competition?
As a both a solution for your clients and a place to work.
Absolutely.
Yes, which I think a lot of people overlook. I think that the theme that we're thinking is that one great person can completely change your company as a hire, right? And I think that's what you're thinking. What do you see as something that the best places to work in property management are doing?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that we really see changes the game with a lot of BDM hires is those companies who do offer those great benefits, who have a really fun, attractive place to work. I know a lot of companies in that role do operate on a hybrid basis with their BDMs. So they have a little bit of that flexibility in their work schedule, which is really something that a lot of people are looking for. But that may initially attract that BDM, but the BDMs who really stay beyond that 1 year mark into year 2 or 3, that's where we really see a lot of the growth happen and a lot of the scaling really comes for the companies when you have BDMs that stay on board past that first year.
I appreciate that share. I know you're going to be hiring 20, 30, 50 BDMs this year. So it's great advice. Thanks for coming, Julia.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. All right. Let's transition into potentially our tallest coach. We're going to bring Jason in and make sure he fits in the camera. Jason, come on in here. Let's talk about what you've been thinking about. You're obviously coaching a lot of our BDMs, some of our more advanced BDMs who've been around for years. I'd love to hear what kind of conversations you're having and what you're telling them.
Yeah, I think there's probably 2 key things that our BDMs need to be thinking about, as well as our owners. The first thing is getting creative on revenue streams. I think for this next year, a lot of the companies that are really progressing and moving forward are looking for new ways to make money. And maybe some things that have been like something that's been off the radar that they just weren't willing to consider. So I would recommend that companies start thinking through what are some additional services that they could offer, or maybe what's a demographic or a section of people that they could be going after that they'd never considered. So for example, one of my top selling BDMs who is on the scoreboard that we just mentioned, their company, well-established, has been doing this for a long time, is getting ready to introduce midterm rentals, something that they never thought they would do, didn't really want to step into. But looking at their market, seeing how some of the shifts and changes have been, realize that there's an opportunity that's worth diving into and diving into a segment of the market that maybe they hadn't previously been considering. I think that's really just kind of key to think about in your company, is that, if you've been focusing solely on that, single family home, accidental landlord, great. Maybe what do you need to do to broaden that out some? I think broadening, this is the year. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities, a lot of new ways that the market is shifting. You can't do what you did last year effectively. So that I think is the first and foremost, is one of the most important things. Number 2 is it is all about getting extroverted. We talked a little bit about this the last time I was on, which was it's way better to be in the studio with you than on a screen, right? Totally different.
Yeah.
But the idea that, business isn't just going to come to you, right? If you're relying solely on that kind of inbound leads coming in, you're investing in digital, that's great. But if you're not getting out there, you're not getting your face out there, you're not getting your value out there, you're not getting your voice out there, you are missing opportunities. And I think the people that are really going to grow and expand in the next year are the ones that are going to quit being an introverted, quit waiting for things to come to them. They're getting out there, they're doing things, they're innovating in some way, shape, or form. And that will also dovetail into then meeting those new kind of niches in the market.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. Right? It's a kind of passive versus reactive, but it's also how do you be reactive or proactive? I'm sorry, passive versus proactive. How do you be proactive and how do you meet those people? So obviously you got great case studies, some people that are really performing at a high level. Just maybe one thing that maybe somebody watching is like, I didn't think that I could get out there and meet people that way. What's something that maybe somebody's not thinking about?
Yeah, builders. Go talk to some builders. That has been the theme. And I've seen it in multiple markets from across the country, everywhere from, the East in North Carolina, the Charlotte market, all the way to Utah and California. But if there's any sort of building activity that is happening in your area beyond the single family, we're talking the not necessarily multi-units, but like your townhome complexes. Like just even down the street from me, there was this tiny little section of land that some developer came along and figured out how to add 12 properties to that little area. When you look at that, that is an ideal situation for an investor. And so get out there and meet the builders. Show up. I had one BDM that literally just met the contractor, waited till they showed up, handed him a card. That led to another opportunity where I think he told me recently he's looking at a deal that would bring him 80 additional units just from going up and handing a card to someone.
This is really on par with, just this morning we got together as the coaches, we shared our personal goals for 2024. Mine was, I want to buy some new construction rentals. And part of my goal was I need to fly into some cities I'm interested in, meet who's building new construction for rent homes. And the first thing I'm going to have to answer before I buy that property is who's going to manage it. Right. And
Absolutely.
if they're going to say, hey, this is who manages all our properties and I can introduce you to 3 people that manage that, that's going to be gold.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's that part of getting extroverted, right? Is who's working with your client, who already has made that connection. So you don't have to go out there and make that happen. You can really leverage that builder. So, go to those builder networking meetings, go to their association meetings, go to their meetups, figure out who the movers and shakers are in your area and start developing those relationships. One introduction will get you into an investor that could completely change your 2024.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's good intel.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Yes. Thanks for coming. All right. We're going to bring on one more coach, one that you already recognized from the scorecard. We'll bring Jen in here and get ready. Sorry, this is the live set that we can't edit out real time. So Jen, thank you for being here. Like to hear what you're thinking. What do you recommend for property managers this year?
Well, Jeremy, I'm seeing a lot of our clients come into us and not really understand what their forecasting and metrics are and exactly what it is that they're trying to achieve. And so what I really would love to see property managers do is focus on forecasts, metrics, goals, and scorecards. I know that we've all started to think about revenue per unit and tons of different things around operations. That's great. Continue to do that. You should know that. Cost per customer acquisition. We should really understand what our average days on market is. We should know exactly what our rent collection percentage is. So keep doing those things, but set goals around those metrics. What'd you do last year and how are you going to improve it? But even beyond that, start thinking about more than just revenue in those numbers. So what activities do you or your BDM want to do this year that gets them really narrowed in on how we know if we're making progress towards those goals? So more attention to data, more forecasts, and a little bit more of, hey, this is what we did last year. Let's intentionally do some things this year that are going to move us forward, and we know we're moving forward.
This is a great point. I mean, we talk a lot about being intentional with the growth. I think a lot of people don't do that. And this is off the cuff. What do you think about somebody that might say, well, 2024 is not going to look like 2023. The market's going to change. Maybe I'm growing my company. How can I use this advice if I think things are going to change?
Yeah, I mean, things are going to change. There's absolutely no way that they don't change. So you make predictions based on the information and knowledge that you have, but you also figure out how to factor some of that stuff in and make revisions throughout the year if you need to. I always say, I hate it when we set a goal and then we adjust the goal just because we don't hit it, or we adjust the goal because of things change. I don't love changing the goal. I love changing the strategy to hit the goal. So if something does happen in the market, if real estate blows up, if it's a really wonderful market or a really terrible market, that's okay. Make shifts in your strategy and then do a better job next year of predicting. I will say that here at RentScale, we had some different things this year that we were like, man, we really didn't expect that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant that we didn't necessarily hit every single goal that we wanted to, but we left those goals in place. We restructured some strategy, and we were actually able to hit some of those targets by doing that.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's go make it a good year.
All right, let's go.
All right. Let's say thank you to the RentScale coaches. I'd like to offer my own recommendation for 2024 as I think about it. I think that there's a lot of conversation around this idea that investors just aren't investing. Can't find a good deal. Nothing is a good price. There's no good financing. And I think that a lot of us are consumed with a lot of noise around just managing the clients that we have, getting accidental landlords. And my recommendation for 2024 is go court those investors, build that list, stay in touch with them, go out to the events. Like Jason said, get extroverted, create marketing, find out how you can do outbound, find these investors, create ads, letting investors know that you understand this market better than anybody else. And when they're ready to get off the sidelines, you want to be the person that helps them find their next property or manage their next property in this market. Let them know that you know people all over the country. A lot of people in our network have an amazing network of property managers all over the country. Sometimes the investors in your market are looking to invest in other markets, and you can facilitate that, and vice versa. I think something's going to change. Either the rates will change, the market will change, or investors' expectations will change. That doesn't mean that there will be more or less investors. I just think that real estate investors are eventually going to get back to investing, and you should be the person who's treating them like an investor when they weren't investing. So get in front of them now, build that list, court those relationships. It may be a giant boon for you at the end of 2024 or into 2025. So hope you enjoyed that. I'd like to move on to the calendar and share some events that you might find some of us at RentScale and show you what's going on in the market. All right. So we've been asking you guys for feedback. Please do comment below if I'm missing your events. We need to know about these events. Our goal is to share all of these for you so that you guys know where everything is. Q1 and Q2 seem to be filled with opportunities to learn more about property management and mastermind with your peers. And as we discussed today, the market is changing. This may be the argument to go to events more than ever. So the first thing I want to share is January 18th. There's the Property Management Resolutions Expo, hosted by the Atlanta chapter of NARPM in Roswell, Georgia. Search for Resolutions Expo 2024 at allevents.in. We'll have the information below. January 23rd to 26th, we have the long-anticipated PM Systems Workshop in Las Vegas. Early February, if you're a KeyRenter franchise, you will find the RentScale team at the KeyRenter Franchise Annual Summit, which is on a cruise ship leaving out of Fort Lauderdale. We will see you there. February 6th, we have the BizDev Mastermind Seminar in San Antonio. You can find more about that at bizdevseminar.com. At the end of February, the 28th and the 29th, yes, you heard that right, the 29th, it is a leap year, the North Carolina Property Management Conference by the NARPM chapter of North Carolina. We'll be meeting it in Charlotte, North Carolina. We'll have information on that below. Near the end of March, we are going to be at the California NARPM State Conference. They had me in Napa Valley. Some of us will be out there, and we will see you there. And April 8th and 9th at the Denver NARPM Conference, which is almost as big as most state conferences, even though it's a Denver NARPM Conference. You will find some of the RentScale coaches there as well, speaking and participating. Search for the two-day event at denver.narpm.com. And we will post the information below. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I thought that was a fun twist on the show. And what a great opportunity to have the coaches all here on set. It was a little bit of a technical challenge, but it was a lot of fun. I want to thank each of them for thinking about what we might be missing out in this year and what should be on all of our radars in case it's going to help set us up for a great 2024 and an even better 2025. And thanks to Jen and the full team for putting together that annual scoreboard. Took a lot of work. There was a lot of numbers that were pulled together and a lot of research was done to show you exactly what matters. So I hope you enjoyed episode 10 of This Week in PM and the first of 2024. I feel crazy just saying the number of 2024, but one thing I know for sure is at this point in my life is that it'll be gone before we know it. So let's make the best of it and accomplish the most important goals in 2024 while enjoying it and making some great memories at the same time. That's it from us at the coaching retreat here in Boca Raton. And that's what's happening this week in PM.